Hello Stampers, it's the Pampered Stamper, and today I'm going to show you how to make a twisted pop-up card using the Sailing Home set. So here's the stamp set, and inside are the framelits. This is an amazing set. It just can do so much, as you will see. The paper is also beautiful, and here are two things that you're going to just take a screenshot of or go to my blog post and you'll see these measurements. Okay, so this is one of the pieces that's very important. And then this is the other piece that's very important. And I'm going to show you how to do this. But before we get freaked out, we're going to start with the outside of the card. And it's just 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So let's just give it a nice fold. Let's do it this way, actually. Bump out. Okay. Now, I have used a Memories and More card as well to do the front of this card. So I'm still using Fast Fuse because I really like it a lot. I'm not going to do the whole card in front of you. Some of the things I have pre-prepped. Okay, and I'm kind of looking to see that I have this properly. Okay. So the Memories and More card is 3 by 4. So my soft suede piece is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. And I thought it would be fun to take the twine from that suite and just wrap it around a couple of times. And then I'm going to tie it in a knot. Let's see. I want to make sure you guys are seeing me okay. This twine is really easy to work with. So I'm tying it in a knot. And then I want to tie a little anchor to it. Let's see if I can get this to work. Yep. Okay. Just to add some visual interest. And I'm just going to tie this in a slip knot. It's not even a knot. Now, ribbon, scissors. Okay, and then that's going to go, oops, on the front of this card. Oh, I did a boo-boo. I got adhesive on my grid paper. So I'll just put that in the middle. And then, Fast Fuse is great. You just give it a rub with your finger, and it takes the adhesive off, and it also takes the ink off your fingers. So that's kind of nice. Oh. So, yeah, I'm kind of quiet today, aren't I? I'm usually nattering along as I make my cards. Okay, so we're going to put that on the front of the card. Okay? It's easier to do all this stuff before you put the insides in. And actually, I'm getting very generous. I'm going to put these on the front and the back. Usually, I only do a 4 by 4 piece because the inner workings of this card will cover up. But let's be generous. And wow, you can see both beautiful sides of this paper. So there's lighthouses on the one side, and then there's that bold stripe on the other. It's very nice, I think. Whenever I put my layers in, always line up your top corners, and then the rest will follow. Simple trick, but you know, when you first start card making, it's really hard to get your corners square, and you stress out when it's crooked. We stress way too much about our card making. There we go. So that part was super easy, wasn't it? Let's put the anchor down. There, isn't that pretty? So far so good. Now we are going to take, oh, where did I put it? I'm going to lay this here while I find my piece. Yes. So this is the first part of the inner mechanism, and it's 8 inches by 3 1/2. I'm scoring at 1 3/4 right down the middle. And then we're going to make some pencil marks at the 2 1/4 and 5 3/4 marks. And then I'm scoring from pencil mark to pencil mark. Okay? But it's the folding part that you want to see on the video. So let's do it. So first we're going to score down the middle at 1 3/4. And yes, I have ink on my fingers. Back and forth a few times. And then cut her out of the way. And I'm going to get my ruler. And right near the top, with a sharp pencil, because accuracy is important, I'm measuring at 2 1/4 and 5 3/4. And same thing on the bottom. Okay, now a mistake that I made, And I thought, how on earth did I do that? I forgot to trim my piece to 8 inches. So our cardstock is 8.5 by 11. So it was 8.5. So my piece didn't work at all. And that was the small mistake I had made. I forgot to trim my piece down. So now we're putting this on the trimmer. And we're putting the little pencil lines right in the trough, as I call it, which is the cutting groove. So when you do that, you're scoring with the light blade. And then we're going to do it. Basically, you're making an X. So pencil mark in the trough, pencil mark in the trough, and an X. Okay, so now we're going to do the folds. So down the middle. And we might as well use our bone folder and give it a good... And now we're going to go across, like so, and across the other way. Oops, gets a little tricky. Now, I have a disclaimer. If you look very carefully, you'll see a bit of a ragged edge here. I am all out of Stampin' Up! Thick Whisper White. It really is the best way to go because I'm using contraband, and when you score it, it does make, it's not nice. So I'm putting my thumbs in that vertical long score and pushing it down, and then you'll see that my triangles, you kind of have to wrestle with it a little bit. And now I'm going to give that another, I'm sure we made folds like this when we were kids. I can't remember what for. Now you'll notice too that this piece is slightly longer than this one, which means I probably goofed a little bit, but I'm going to trim it just for fun. There, no one will know that I made a mistake. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I kind of want to give that another bone fold here. I want that nice and tight. Okay, so here, this is what it's supposed to look like. And where did I put my card? Oh yeah, here. Oh, I didn't recognize it because it's all done. Okay, so now we're going to put adhesive just on this triangle piece, okay? And it's very important to use a strong adhesive. That's why I love our fast fuse. But you're going to want to use tear and tape or something strong. Do not use snail for this. You're going to lay it down in the middle, centered, with the point touching the score line, just below the score line. Okay, so there we are. Now we're going to put adhesive on the triangle again. There, I have wallpapered it with adhesive. Then just fold this down and give it a rub. Now this is important that your fingers aren't inky, otherwise this will get all messy. Okay, so now we have that part of the guts. All right, let's put it aside, take a deep breath. We're not going to freak out. This is the next piece we're going to use, okay? So this one is 3 3/4 by 11, scored at 2 3/4, 5 1/2, 8 1/4. Okay, so here it is, and you're going to just fold like so. So I guess 2 valley folds and a mountain fold, okay? Once you've folded it up into your little booklet, just give it a nice score. And I did say to, you know, in my blog post to put it all together first, but I think it's going to be quite full, so I'm not going to listen to myself. You want to take the parts that are open and face them down. Then you're going to lay it here, and it's going to go at the bottom of the card in the middle. And then, this gets a little bit tricky, you're only going to add adhesive into this bottom little square here. And we're going to go, whoops. Okay, so now we're going to fold it back up and lay it in here. You want to make sure it's straight. And then I'm just closing it right in on itself. There we go. And up it goes. So now we have one piece attached. Okay. I'm taking my little booklet, and when I'm folding this mechanism down, it's going to go over top. So it's on the bottom of this one, but it's going to go on the top of this one. So I'm just going to look it up. And I'm only going to put, I should draw a little rectangle on here. I'm only putting adhesive on this top little rectangle here. So maybe 2.5 pieces of tape runner going. Okay, so now this is going to go towards the bottom, but it's going to go on top. I'm going to turn it upside down. It's going on top of this. So down we go, and I'm just closing in. It's a little bit of an act of faith when you do this. Now let's have a look. Yeah, it's perfect. See? Okay, now we're going to make the inside decorations. All right, I've kind of got them ready already. I cheated, okay? Because I didn't want to take an hour to make this. So I've got all my pieces, and I'm just going to put them together with you. All right, so I've cut 4 of these, and I believe they're 2.5 by 3.5, okay? And I did find that if you take the blends to color these, they're really beautiful. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to try to make sure that I'm in the right spot so you can see. I have a very archaic way of videoing. You might not know that, but it's true. So I'm going to start by putting my oval. I've stamped the rope on here, and I'm going to adhere. So I have the stitched ovals on all of them. That's my kind of go-to for this card. I haven't rethought it at all. I'm going to add this, and a little trick here. When I saw this little framelit, let me find it for you over here. This little framelit, I thought, what is that for? Well, it is for this compass, and it does this little thing. So you just stamp it twice in 2 different colors, and you cut it out of the second color. Okay, and then I want to use a glue dot in the middle of the wheel. And this is a framelit that is in the set, but there's not a stamp to go with it, okay? I like offsetting things off my oval. It adds interest. I've added a couple of mini dimensionals to my sailboat, which I colored with blends. I stamped it in Memento. Okay, can we see what we're doing here? I am not in the center. Sorry about that. There we go. And then I took that same twine and made a little knot with it. Nothing fancy, just a double loop of thread. There, I've got a glue dot on the back, and maybe I'll put one more glue dot just to hold it. Oh, it's getting messy. All right, well, messy rope is good. There, that looks authentic. Here is piece number 2. So this was this little framelit is also, here, let me get close. Really cool, it's in there. I colored the lighthouse just with real red and soft suede, and then I left this bit white. I always find it difficult to color lighthouses. I love coloring, but choosing which color to use can sometimes be stressful for me. So, but the blends take all the stress out of coloring. They're really lovely. I stamped the birds off to the right, and I'm just going to put the lighthouse on flat because I'm popping up the congrats. There we go. I want to be careful that my lighthouse doesn't extend on the pattern paper too far. I put a couple mini dimensionals on the back. Oops, that whole thing came off. That's not good. Paper is really hard on fingernails. I know a lot of demonstrators have beautiful nails, but not me. There we go. That's number 2. Number 3 is very simple. It's just this beautiful seaweed or algae or whatever you want to call it. Again, we have our stitched oval. I use my stitched shape framelits all the time. Absolutely love them. I should probably use a few glue dots with this. When you have such a nice little piece with intricate stuff, I like to just add a few little things so that there's a bit of movement. It would help if I got my glue dot in the right spot. There. And the anchor has a couple mini dimensionals on the back of it already. There we go. We'll put it on a jaunty angle, like it looks like it fell down. So that's number 3. And then number 4 is this beautiful stitched framelit that comes in it. It's going to go on flat. I've added a pop of red to everything because I find that red is a nautical color, the red and the navy. I used the 1.5-inch circle punch because I was too lazy to use my circle framelits, okay? I'm not sure, but I think that punch might be retiring, so you might want to check. Or I might want to check and let you know, do my job as a demonstrator. This, another cute little sailboat. So there's 2 sailboats in this set. And here we go. Oh. And it's going to just go off. I'm not sure if I should put it this side or this side, but I think we'll go on the left. There we go. Now, let's put them in the card. And it is a little bit tricky to do this as you go, so I'm just going to put that out of the way and put my adhesive on the back. Now, I've added a lot of dimensionals to this, so I'm curious to see how it's going to work. And I'm going to just hold it like this. The key is to not be in a hurry when you're adhering things so that you're not pushing it down right away. Give yourself a little breathing room. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. I think that's the biggest lesson. Oh yeah, and you also kind of want to lay them out to see how it's going to go. See, I think that those 2 are too busy together, so I'm going to do that. Always lay your pieces out before you put them on your card, just to see which way is the most eye appealing, because there's usually a better way. There's usually a good way, and then there's a better way. So I'm just holding this in between my hands and giving it a press. And then the lighthouse. But really, if you just breathe going through this card and allow yourself to mess up a few times, once you've done it a few times, you kind of understand how to do the mechanism. I do have an older video that shows it quite nicely as well. Check it out on my blog, thepamperedstamper.com. And we're almost done, people. Honestly, this suite of products is so nice to make a beautiful card with all the matching papers. Oh. Okay, look at that. Let's zoom out a little bit. What do you think? See? And then it just closes up. The look on people's face when they get this card, they go, oh, that's a nice card. You know, I might need to add a pop of red to it or something. But then when they open it, it's like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. So I hope you like that. Here's the other one that I did. Let's close it up. I used a stencil here from the Memories and More cards. And it's right here. I put it in a clear case. And then you just take one of the cards and just a sec. See, there's this plastic layer in between, and you just tuck that in between the case and the layer, and then you know exactly which ones they are. And here's the stencil. See, so this is the one side, but look at the other side. See, because I used it as a stencil, so you just lay it on and then you brayer over it. But I can still use it on this side for another card. So I'm pretty pumped about that. See, you can just layer it on like so. See how pretty? Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you had fun, and I should show you the rest of this card before I forget. There it goes. See, so on these ones, look at the sailboats. They're all one color. That works. It looks fine. Here it is in green. But coloring it with blends really does take it up a notch. So, and I did get a little bit of red on this card because I was laying on the table. Something touched it. Oh well. Have a super day, and thank you for joining me.